Why do people like or dislike each other? Moreover, why among the countless people we meet during our lives do we have especially intense positive feelings towards only a few? Social psychologists have studied these and related questions for decades, and their findings have proved to be both revealing and in many cases surprising. Why do we get attracted to someone? The science of attraction. Imagine someone you like very much, someone you strongly dislike, and someone you would place in the middle of this dimension. Now ask yourself this question: why do you have these reactions? Revealing answers are provided by research on the nature and causes of liking and disliking, which is known as an interpersonal attraction. Propinquity, nearness makes the heart grow fonder. Many friendships and romances start when individuals are brought into contact with one another, often by chance. We tend to form a relationship with people who sit nearby in class, live in our dorm or a neighborhood, or work in the same office. So propinquity, which means proximity or physical closeness to others, is an important factor in interpersonal attraction. In one sense, this has to be true because we simply can't form a relationship with people we'll never meet. However, there appears to be more to the effects of propinquity than this. Many studies indicate that the more frequently we're exposed to a given stimulus, the more in general we tend to like it. This is known as the frequency of exposure effect, and it seems to extend to people as well as to objects. The more often we encounter other people, the more we tend to like them, all other things being equal. Why is this so? Apparently, because the more frequently we encounter a stimulus, the more familiar it becomes, and therefore the more comfortable or pleasant we feel in its presence. For this reason, propinquity is one important basis of interpersonal attraction. Similarity, liking others who are like ourselves. You have probably heard both of the following proverbs: birds of the same feather flock together and opposites attract. Which one is true? Existing evidence leaves little room for doubt. Moreover, this is so whether such similarity relates to attributes and beliefs, to personality traits, to personal habits such as drinking and smoking, to sexual preferences, to whether people accept traditional or less traditional gender roles, or even to whether people are morning or night persons. Why do we like others who are similar to ourselves? The most plausible explanation is that such persons provide validation for our views or our characteristics. This is, if another person agrees with us or is similar to us in behavior, this indicates that our views, preferences, and actions are correct, or at least that they are shared by someone else. This makes us feel good, and our liking for that other person increases. Whatever the precise mechanism involved, the similarity is certainly one powerful determinant of attraction. Affective states, positive feelings as a basis for attraction. Suppose that you meet a stranger just after receiving some really good news, such as you got an A on an exam when you expected just a C. Will you like this person more than if you met him or her for the first time after receiving the bad news that put you in a negative mood? Common sense suggests that this may be so, and research findings confirm this suggestion. Positive feelings or moods, whatever their source, cause us to like others we meet experiencing them. Negative moods, again, whatever their source, cause us to dislike others we meet when we are feeling low. Now, what is it meant by whatever their source? If our positive feelings are produced by something another person says or by the way the person looks, we'll tend to like that individual. However, if our positive feelings have nothing to do with the person, as in the unexpectedly high-grade incident, or if we meet someone in a pleasant setting, we may still experience a boost in our liking for the person. In short, anything that induces positive effects is most likely to occur when we are neutral to the person to start with and we know very little about him or her. Even so, these effects are both strong and general enough to be viewed as one important factor of attraction. Physical attractiveness. Beauty may be only skin deep, but we pay a lot of attention to skin. Perhaps the most obvious factor affecting interpersonal attraction is physical beauty. Research findings indicate that we are indeed sucker for a pretty or handsome face. Moreover, this is true for both women and men alike, although the effects seem to somewhat be stronger for males. Why is this the case? One reason is that physically attractive people make us feel good, and as we just saw, this can be an important ingredient in liking. Another reason, suggested by evolutionary psychology, is that physical attractiveness is associated with good health and good reproductive capacity. Choosing attractive mates, therefore, is one strategy for increasing our chances of contributing our genes to the next generation. Whatever the causes, we do tend to like physically attractive people more than physically unattractive ones. Moreover, such effects occur across the entire lifespan. Indeed, even 1-year-old infants show a preference for attractive rather than unattractive strangers. But what precisely makes one person physically attractive? This varies from culture to culture, but surprisingly less than you might guess. People tend to agree on what is or what is not attractive even when judging other people who differ from themselves in terms of race or ethnic background. So to repeat, what makes another person physically attractive? One approach to this question has been to identify people viewed as attractive by a large majority of raters and then see what those people have in common. Research using this approach suggests that among women, two distinct patterns of facial features are viewed as attractive. A cute pattern involving childlike features with large, widely spaced eyes and a small nose and chin, and a mature pattern involving prominent cheekbones, high eyebrows, large pupils, and a big smile. Findings are less clearer for males, but some results suggest that men too there appear to be at least two clusters of facial features viewed as attractive, such as youthful appearance and a mature masculine appearance. Other and perhaps most surprising findings suggest that faces are perceived as attractive when they do not depart in any pronounced way from the typical face in their culture. To test this assertion, Langlois and Rogman constructed composite faces from photos of different individuals. They found that the more faces they used in constructing the composites, the more attractive the composites were rated as being. Why are average faces often judged to be attractive? Perhaps because they're more familiar than any specific face, and we've already seen familiarity does often generate positive reactions. Judgment of attractiveness do not depend solely on facial features. They're also influenced by other aspects of people's appearance. For example, there is currently a strong bias against being overweight in many Western cultures. It is not surprising that physique is another important determinant of attraction, at least among young people. Persons whose physique matches with the popular model, currently slim but muscular, tend to receive higher evaluations than persons who depart from this model. However, the preferred physique may vary with social roles people play in their lives. For instance, although a rounded body is usually downrated, people who show this build are rated favorably when they're described as being mothers, clowns, or Santa Claus. Similarly, reactions to males with a very thin body build who are described as being scholars are fairly positive, whereas reactions to super thin female fashion models are mixed. Such effects appear to be independent of other aspects of appearance. For example, in one ingenious study, Gardner and Tuckerman used a computer to vary apparent physique of several men and women. The result indicates that when these persons were made to appear overweight, they were rated as less attractive than when they were shown to be normal weight or as very slim. In sum, physical attractiveness plays an important role in our liking or disliking for others, and several features such as facial and otherwise enter into our judgments of what is and what is not attractive. Well, that's all for this video. So if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to Explified. Also, do press the bell icon. Bye!